Supreme Court, big rulings. ESPN laying off a lot of big-name talent as the business continues to collapse. Elon Musk and Mark Zuckerberg potentially going to fight in the Coliseum in Rome. And the WNBA, a WNBA player said, "Our country is trash." Happy 4th of July from the WNBA. But we start, Supreme Court got it right. I agree with most of the Supreme Court case decisions so far this term. Yesterday, we discussed the decision on affirmative action and why I believe that is the right decision from a legal perspective. Today, we got, first of all, the student loan forgiveness, the idea that the government was going to take on $420-some-odd billion of student loan debt and add it to the national debt. I told you the moment that this came out, I said this is unconstitutional. It's going to be struck down, and the Supreme Court is then going to be attacked by Joe Biden, who is going to say this is illegitimate. The goal was to motivate young voter turnout. Now Biden will use the Supreme Court striking down, rightly, his unconstitutional act as evidence of why people need to vote in 2024, and maybe even use as evidence why the Supreme Court needs to be packed, why there need to be new justices added. But this is the right decision. If the Democrats believe that student loan debt should be taken on by the federal government, then they should pass that bill. That is why Congress exists. Take it up in the House, take it up in the Senate, pass it, and allow everyone to be involved in the Democrat process. The president doesn't have the authority to do this. Joe Biden knew it, and this was about trying to give another avenue to attack the Supreme Court. The other decision that came down today basically had to do, and I'm simplifying it, with how exactly the requirements are, what the requirements are when it comes to website design. Do you have to do websites specifically designed for gay couples if you don't favor that in your own private religious beliefs? As a Colorado website designer, they tried to order her to make the website for a gay couple. She said she would not. And this, to me, is not complicated, right? CNN, MSNBC, the idiots on The View, the usual suspects are losing their mind over this ruling, but to me, this is not complicated. I own a website, right? I used to own a website. I owned OutKick. I sold it to Fox. If someone didn't want to build the website for me, if they said, you know what, Clay Travis, we hate what you write. We think that you're an awful, despicable human being, and I don't want to be involved in any way with designing a website for you, that should be their right. And the same thing would be true if it had to do with my sexuality or anything else. People who have talent should be able to choose how they decide to use that talent. And to me, this is not remotely complicated. There's a difference between having, let's say, a restaurant. Anybody who wants to walk into a restaurant should be able to eat in a restaurant so long as it's available and open to the public. Doesn't matter whether you're white, black, Asian, Hispanic, gay, straight, whatever. As long as you comply with basic rules, right? You might have to wear a shirt, might have to wear shoes. Remember the no shirt, no shoes, no service. I mean, that's kind of commonplace, right? But as long as you are complying with basic rules that might be established by a restaurant, you should be able to eat there. But you aren't guaranteed to be able to hire the chef who works at that restaurant to come work at your wedding, right? That chef has the opportunity to decide whether or not he services you specifically. And, you know, this is relatively easy stuff. Like, I don't understand why this is considered controversial at all. And it makes total sense. I'll give you an example. You can book me to speak, right? You can book me to speak all over the country. I have given speeches. I don't have to go. And I don't have to go speak to groups that I would choose not to speak to. I also might have scheduling challenges. I might not have the time to be able to do things. When you have a unique skill set or a unique talent, you should be able to decide who you allow to pay you for your labor. If you have a business that is open to the public, like For instance, if we have an OutKick store, anybody can come in and buy an OutKick t-shirt. But I don't have to go speak to any group out there, and we don't have to take our product and distribute it, right? So anyway, this is not complicated. I think the Supreme Court got both of these rulings correct. I would encourage you to go read them. Actually, very strong defense of the First Amendment in terms of individual talent being able to make decisions about whom they decide to endorse and not being able to allow government to force you to say things that you disagree with as a part of your job.